The city of Pripyat slept, unaware of the impending doom. The night was calm, the streets were quiet, and the residents were nestled in their homes, oblivious to the catastrophe that was about to unfold. April 25, 1986, had been a typical spring day. The sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow over the city. Flowers bloomed in the parks, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of fresh blossoms through the air. Children played in parks, their laughter echoing through the streets. Families prepared for the upcoming May Day celebrations, a time of joy and festivity. Meanwhile, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant hummed with activity, its workers going about their daily routines. A safety test was scheduled for the night shift at reactor number 4. The test was intended to simulate a power outage and assess the reactor's safety systems. It was a routine procedure, or so they thought. The workers were confident, having performed similar tests before. They believed they were prepared for any eventuality. The purpose of the test was to evaluate the reactor's safety systems. Specifically, they wanted to see if the reactor could be safely shut down in the event of a power failure. Engineers wanted to determine if the turbine's inertia could provide enough power to run the cooling pumps in the event of a power outage. This was a critical aspect of the reactor's safety design. This was critical for preventing the reactor core from overheating. The cooling pumps were essential for maintaining the reactor's temperature and preventing a meltdown. A series of miscalculations and design flaws, however, would turn this routine test into one of the greatest technological disasters in human history. The events that followed would change the lives of thousands and leave a lasting scar on the world. The residents of Pripyat were evacuated, leaving behind their homes and belongings. The city, once vibrant and full of life, became a ghost town, a haunting reminder of the disaster. Today, Pripyat stands as a chilling testament to the events of that fateful night. The abandoned buildings and overgrown streets tell a story of a city frozen in time, a stark reminder of the fragility of human endeavors. Anatoly Dyatlov, the deputy chief engineer, oversaw the test. A stern and demanding figure, Dyatlov was known for his strict adherence to protocol. As the clock ticked past midnight, tension hung heavy in the control room. The operators, a mix of seasoned veterans and young recruits, followed their checklists with focused determination. The test commenced as planned. Power to the reactor was gradually reduced, simulating a power failure. But something was amiss. The reactor's output dropped far lower than anticipated. Unbeknownst to the operators, a dangerous chain reaction was already underway deep within the reactor's core. At 1:23:45 a.m., a surge of power ripped through Reactor 4. It was a moment that would forever alter the course of history, a moment that would be etched into the annals of time. The control room, once a place of precision and order, was now the epicenter of chaos. Two explosions, seconds apart, tore the roof off the building, spewing radioactive debris into the night sky. The force of the blasts was unimaginable, sending shockwaves through the surrounding area. The once silent night was now filled with the sounds of destruction and the eerie glow of the burning reactor. A blinding flash illuminated Pripyat, briefly turning night into day. The residents, unaware of the catastrophe unfolding, were jolted awake by the sudden brightness. Windows shattered and the ground trembled as the explosion's force reached the town. The ground shook as a plume of burning graphite and nuclear fuel shot thousands of feet into the air. The toxic cloud began to spread, carrying with it the deadly particles that would contaminate the land for generations. The air was thick with the acrid smell of burning materials, a harbinger of the disaster's long-lasting impact. The silence that followed was deafening. It was a silence filled with dread and uncertainty as the magnitude of the disaster began to sink in. The once bustling town of Pripyat was now eerily quiet, its residents in a state of shock and disbelief. Inside the control room, disbelief and confusion reigned. The operators, trained to handle emergencies, were now faced with a situation beyond their worst nightmares. Alarms blared and frantic voices filled the room as they struggled to comprehend the scale of the catastrophe. The magnitude of what had just transpired was almost incomprehensible. The workers, who had dedicated their lives to the plant, were now witnesses to its destruction. Their faces, etched with shock and horror, told the story of a disaster that would change their lives forever. They had just witnessed the unthinkable. A nuclear reactor, the pride of Soviet engineering, was now a smoldering ruin. The once mighty structure, a symbol of progress and power, lay in ruins, a stark reminder of the fragility of human endeavors. the world would never be the same again, as the fallout from this disaster would reach far and wide, affecting countless lives and reshaping the course of history. The first to respond were the firefighters of Pripyat. Unaware of the invisible danger they faced, these brave men and women rushed towards the inferno. Their heroism was unyielding, their courage unmatched. They fought the blaze with everything they had, unaware that they were being bathed in lethal doses of radiation. Many of these first responders would succumb to radiation poisoning in the days and weeks that followed. Their sacrifice, however, bought precious time. Time for the authorities to grasp the severity of the disaster. Time to begin the daunting task of containing the deadliest nuclear accident in history. 36 hours after the explosion, the evacuation of Pripyat began. Residents were told it would be temporary, that they would return in a few days. They packed hastily, grabbing what few possessions they could carry. Children clutched their favorite toys, unaware they were leaving their childhoods behind. The evacuation was orderly but heartbreaking. Families were torn from their homes, their lives upended in a matter of hours. Little did they know that Pripyat, once a bustling symbol of Soviet progress, would become a ghost town, forever etched in the annals of history as a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for destruction. The Soviet Union, initially reluctant to acknowledge the disaster, was forced to act as the invisible killer spread. Carried by the wind, radioactive fallout began to blanket parts of Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. Invisible and odorless, it left an eerie silence in its wake. The world watched in horror as the true extent of the disaster unfolded. The Chernobyl disaster was a stark reminder of the devastating power of the atom. It was a wake-up call, forcing the world to confront the potential consequences of unchecked technological ambition. The invisible enemy radiation began to take its toll. The first responders, firefighters, and plant workers were the first to succumb. Their bodies ravaged by radiation sickness, they endured a painful and agonizing demise. But the unseen killer was indiscriminate. Children, the most vulnerable, developed thyroid cancer at alarming rates. The long-term effects of the disaster were insidious and far-reaching. Birth defects, genetic mutations, and a surge in cancer cases became a grim legacy of Chernobyl. The generation born in the shadow of Chernobyl lived with the constant reminder of the disaster. The psychological and emotional toll was immeasurable. Fear, anxiety, and uncertainty became a part of life. The land, once fertile and bountiful, was now tainted with an invisible poison. The Chernobyl disaster transcended borders. It became a global symbol of the devastating consequences of human error. It highlighted the need for international cooperation and the importance of nuclear safety protocols. The Chernobyl exclusion zone, a 30-kilometer radius surrounding the plant, remains largely uninhabited to this day. It is a haunting reminder of the disaster, a chilling testament to the enduring impact of radiation. Yet, nature has begun to reclaim this desolate landscape. Wildlife once decimated by radiation has returned. Forests have regrown, masking the scars of the past. The Chernobyl exclusion zone stands as a testament to nature's resilience, a somber reminder of both the destructive power and the enduring beauty of the natural world. The Chernobyl disaster forced a global reckoning with the promise and peril of nuclear energy. It exposed flaws in reactor design, safety protocols, and human judgment. The disaster served as a catalyst for international cooperation on nuclear safety standards. The construction of a new sarcophagus, the new safe confinement, a testament to human ingenuity and international collaboration, now entombs the destroyed reactor. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a constant reminder of the delicate balance between technological advancement and our responsibility to safeguard our planet. 38 years have passed since that fateful night in Pripyat. The once thriving city now stands as a ghost town, a haunting reminder of the disaster that unfolded. The memory of Chernobyl lives on, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of human error and the enduring power of the atom. The explosion at Reactor 4 released a cloud of radioactive material, affecting millions of lives and altering the course of history. The echoes of that fateful night reverberate through history, urging us to remember the lessons learned. The disaster not only changed the landscape but also left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of humanity. Chernobyl compels us to approach technological advancements with caution, reminding us that progress must be tempered with responsibility. The cleanup efforts that followed were monumental, involving thousands of workers who risked their lives to contain the radiation, to prioritize safety over expediency, ensuring that such a catastrophe never happens again. The implementation of stringent safety protocols in nuclear plants worldwide is a testament to the lessons learned from Chernobyl, and to never forget the human cost of progress. The lives lost and the suffering endured by the victims and their families serve as a poignant reminder of the price of negligence. It is a story that must be told and retold to ensure that the world does not forget the sacrifices made. The museums and documentaries dedicated to Chernobyl play a crucial role in educating future generations, ensuring that the sacrifices made at Chernobyl are never forgotten, and that the bravery of those who face the disaster head-on is honored. Vigils and memorials continue to be held, keeping the memory alive, and the lessons learned are carried forward for generations to come. Educational programs and seminars on nuclear safety draw from the Chernobyl experience, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and preparedness in the face of potential nuclear threats.